What's up, everybody? Arrg the Pirate here, and today I'm going to be playing a little safe lane Murdock. As always, let's go over the deck. Now I have Auto Health Potion, Fast Travel, Multi-Shot, Piercing Basic, Critical Hits, and lastly Healing Towers for my gems. Now for my cards, I have Coin Master, Demolitionist, Outlander Scout, Flame of Zetchin, Nitro Boost, Growth Totem, Pressure Hunter, Swift Hunter, Heavy Hitter, Trapper, one of the Tribe, and lastly Shatter Golem. Now since V42 came out, I've probably spent the most time with ADCs, or just in that ADC position. That's not saying I haven't played everything, but I've spent a lot of time with the ADCs because I have not... I've really tried to find a way to make them better than they are. And, you know, I've really just found that they're just so weak at the moment, and they're just very, very underwhelming. You know, the offlaner can get fed so quickly now that I've really felt that the passive Call of the Week is almost a buff to the offlaner and a nerf to the ADC. It's much harder to freeze the lane than it used to be because you get this big red indicator that, hey, get that last hit, and it can be very distracting, and it's very hard to see when that health bar is low enough to where, you know, one more minion hit will kill it. So you're killing the minions faster, which is pushing the lane to the offlaner faster. The offlaner's got a much easier job of getting those last hits. So I really kind of feel that all around the offlaner's getting a very easy farm when their kit really relied on them being level 5. Now, if they're able to hit, you know, level 5 or 6 at, you know, 5 minutes in, and they have Possessed Sprite on, that's going to be a 15-minute safe lane tower. You know, because it's so hard to deal with the offlaner that has Possessed Sprite. And, you know, I just kind of really feel that right now, ADCs are just very, very underwhelming. I think they've been in a bad spot for a while now, but this new update, I wouldn't say it necessarily nerfed the actual heroes that, you know, have to do with the ADC, but it buffed the offlane, which in turn has kind of, you know, if the offlaner's able to force the ADC out of lane more, or, you know, it's harder to freeze lanes, things like that, it's much, much more difficult for that ADC hero to get fed. I mean, it's simple as that. In general, you know, the state of Paragon right now is, I would say, in a pretty bad state. You know, this is one of the few times within Paragon I have said, wow, you know, it's so unbalanced, it's hard to play. You know, you've got one-shot Grux builds, you've got over 1,000 health regen Rampage build. Gideon, you know, in all honesty, I don't think his ultimate is really all that broken. You know, it is a very long stun, but it does very little damage. But the thing is, he's now got the highest burst damage in the game. He's got 2 abilities that hit very hard, you know, and no other hero really has that. You know, the Gadget's got Seek and Destroy, but she doesn't have 2 abilities that are just, boom, tons and tons of damage. And, you know, so those 3 heroes are, they're fairly strong right now. You know, Sevarog is all but useless right now. You know, there's just a few there's just a few heroes that have just got significantly nerfed, and I think the ADCs are one of them. So you've got a handful of heroes that are just, you know, crazy high on damage, and then you've got, you know, the highest damage roll is just very, very lacking until you get all the way to that end game. And when you're all the way to that end game, you know, at that point, the enemy team, if they're running a one-shot Grux, you know, basically, he can just absolutely erase an ADC before that ADC can down him. So, you know, it's just the game is so unbalanced at the moment that I'm finding it difficult to play and, you know, really just enjoy, because you're facing the same team comp every game. You've got the same team comp, unless, you know, you go into a private match and tell people, hey, don't build this way. And we actually did that in this match. This is a 5v5 match, and, you know, that was the only rule. You know, you don't play these broken heroes, and one of the people ended up actually doing that. So, you can't even get people to do it on your own team. So, I've just kind of found it difficult to, Paragon's just in a really poor spot right now, and I really think, version 44.1, the patch that'll come out on Tuesday, I'm sure that will address a lot of these issues. But, it's kind of like, hey, it can't get here soon enough kind of thing, So, let's hope that it actually does head out and we can fix a lot of these issues. Now, here, we do have a Kalari on the enemy team, and I was thinking about running that Outlander Scout, but, like I said, this is a 5v5, so I was just kind of thinking, hey, let's just go without wards. Let's let Kalari have some fun, because this is definitely like a frustration match for, the pirate crew. We've all just been facing these, one-shot Gruxes and these unkillable rampages and, Gideon Aurora combos for days. I think I've played like 12 games in a row, and every single one of them has had an Aurora. So, it's, or Aurora Gideon anyways. But it's definitely been an experience for us coming into 44. And like I said, I really do think that this new update's going to address a lot of these issues. Alright, now let's get into some of this gameplay. Now, we are facing a Crunch in the off lane. And, you don't see a whole lot of Crunches in the off lane. Crunch is a very good hero. And you can see our Richter is staying out of that fight, so he can do some peel for me with this Crunch. But you see the amount of damage Crunch is able to just dish out, especially once he hits level 5. And we are able to juke around and, I get my little sirens going, but I'm not going to chase that. I'm very, very low. I'm just going to clean up this farm, grab my gold buff, and, go ahead and head back to base. I don't have any power cards on at the moment, so that should be helpful. And sure enough, I get caught lazy backing, and boom, Kalari's here to take me out. That one was on me. I could have just easily went to the other side of the tower, or just not stopped running back. That's on me, guys. But, hey, is what it is. I needed to go back to base anyway, so let's go ahead. I'm going to actually swap out. I'm going to put on Growth Totem. I actually bought Growth Totem here because, I had 1,000 points. I was back at base, and I'm able to put on Pressure Hunter. Now, Pressure Hunter is a very solid card if you're not stacking Vitality. And, as an ADC, you typically don't. So I should be able to really handle my offlane or handle that Kalari when she shows up, things like that. That's really what I'm hoping to do. Now, I head to mid lane to just kind of help force this. Maybe we can get some rotation. Maybe we can actually get a kill. Richter's been having a bit of an issue with his pull. Now, I have played Richter, and I don't know if they changed his pull, but it definitely feels different than it used to. My Richter now, he started maining Richter there at the end of 43, and, he definitely wasn't 100%, but I would say, 70% hooks, and he's went from that to very little hooks. And that's just attributed to V44. I don't know if it's the HUD. I'm not really sure what it is, but I've definitely noticed a difference with Rick's pulls. And, if you're not getting pulls with Rick, you're really hurting yourself. So, is what it is, though. I'm actually going to kind of back off here and go ahead and head back to my safe lane and continue that farm. Now, for the next couple of minutes, I really just kind of run back and forth to lanes, kind of clean the lane up. I'm getting my farm. We haven't really had a good, solid team fight. We're all, it's a 5v5, and we're not really on teams. This isn't like the tournament teams or anything. We're just in here having some fun, trying to get away from just all the brokenness that is Paragon. So, we're not really engaging in fights at this moment. We're just kind of running around, and I'm keeping his lanes pushed, keeping my farm up, that type of thing. Farm is just still really, really important for an ADC, and we definitely need to make sure that happens. Now, we did get a little bit of collapse in that off lane, but, everybody kind of backed up. Crunch was in our jungle. We were able to kind of force him out a little bit. And then we actually have some rotation in mid. So I'm going to go ahead and say, hey, we actually get an engagement on some people here. And you can see our Gideon heads in and is able to get that ult off. Now, I say, hey, we need to take out Muriel. If we don't take out Muriel, she's just going to shield everybody, and we're not going to be able to do anything. So we get Muriel down, which, you kind of have to pick your time and place to get those picks. Right now, we didn't really have enough damage to just take out everybody, but if we're going to get a kill, let's get the kill that can't keep everybody alive, type of thing. Now, we've got a ton of split pressure right now. We've got Grux in that off lane going at that tower, and so we're going to keep this pressure up here in mid. Now, Crunch actually heads in to, take me out, and, that might not have been the best choice with 4 of our team being here. If he got the kill, it might have been worth, but he would have probably died for it if he actually got the kill. But that did force me to back, so, hey, it accomplished the goal. But our real goal there was not necessarily to down that tower, but to provide Grux the opportunity to down his tower. And, hey, it worked like a champ. Now, I am going to go ahead, start building towards that one of the tribe. I've got my heavy hitter, I've got my nitro boost, and my growth totem, which is a very solid build in this early stage or mid stage of the game. But if I can work my way up to, one of the tribe shatter golem type build, that's a ton of damage, guys. So hopefully we can get there, but I just need to keep my farm up and keep trying to get, more fed. Now, the enemy Crunch does head into this tower, and to be quite honest, at this point, I almost want my tower to fall. That way I can farm a little bit safer, things like that. So I'm just going to straight go in on this Crunch and, hey, try to save the tower, but the tower's kind of secondary at this point. I don't really care if it falls. And, we got that kill, and we're able to, that tower's able to go down. So this is going to allow me to rotate for longer and, set my lane, rotate if I need to, those type of things. Now I've got a lot more freedom than I did when that tower was still up. So, and this is really kind of the biggest reason dying for a tier 1's not worth it. Just because, at a certain point, the offlaner and the ADC want their tier 1's to fall, just so they have a lot more freedom. And, hey, that's it. Now, I did see that Kallari heading over. That's how come I just kind of booked it out of there. And, I might be able to take Kallari at this point, but I don't really want to risk it. So I'm just going to kind of see if I can stay close to my tower, maybe get some rotation over here to help deal with her. Now, our Crunch is in mid and has this Gideon very low, and I'm just kind of waiting until I can make sure I can get this snipe. Now, our Crunch was able to secure that kill before that snipe went off, and, hey, no problem. Great kill on his part. It's one thing about Long Armor of the Law, you can't feel bad about, quote, stealing kills, because there is no kill stealing. What it is you're securing a kill, and you're getting more farm, which, as the ADC, you need to have more farm than anybody in the game. And, that's just how it is. Now, Kallari did manage to jump out of that Grux's smash and grab, which, to be quite honest, if Kallari was not able to evade that, it would probably be instant death for her. So, hey, it's not a big deal at all. She is probably not going to be able to stop this, push we have, and sure enough, we're able to down this tower. Now, I'm going to go ahead and start hitting Kallari. You can see I do get a couple of pokes on her while she is in Viz, but, I'm not able to take her out. But she actually does engage on me, and we are able to wrap that kill up. Now, our Richter is able to, he got a great stun and an amazing pull on that Crunch that kept me alive and able to just dish out damage, and we actually end up melting Crunch. So, that great plays all around. We get a couple of kills, we got a tower, we got a chunk of damage on that mid tier 2. all in all, that was a great push, great play, and all of us survived. So GG's all around. Now, while I was backing, our team actually goes in for an engagement, and our Crutch is just being a little bit too aggressive. He does end up taking out Seraph, which, that's great. Taking down an ADC, that's always great. But this kind of puts a lot of people out of position. Richter heads down to actually do a little bit of peel, and you can see their Crunch heads in, and we're able to, chunk him down fairly well, but, still, he's a bit of an issue, and I'm not just completely fed at this moment. So we're just kind of hanging out, waiting to see what's going to happen. Richter does get caught out, because of that peel that was forced out of him, and he ends up going down. So a support for an offlaner, that was an okay engagement, but it could have definitely gone better. Now, our safe lane is being just set like crazy. Their Crunch has done a great job of setting that lane, and this is, kind of starved me from being able to actually get farm, things like that. But at the same time, it has allowed me to stay in the fight for a very long time. So, you don't just always want to set your lane. Sometimes you want to force it to relieve some pressure as well. But is what it is. Now, I do head down. Crunch is here. I'm calling for my team to get some peel on this Kallari, and I'm just staying on Crunch because if I'm going to kill somebody, I might as well kill one person. I end up going down. That was kind of a tunnel vision thing right there. We really should have, we had our Richter, we had our Crunch there. We really should have been focused on the guy that's killing me and less on the, both of those heroes are a bit of a threat. But we definitely need to keep the guy that's killing the ADC off of the ADC, because there's very little I can do against close quarters Kallari like that. Do have my shotgun to try to blast them away, but if I blast them away into a wall that's, just a step away from me, she's not going to really move. So it'd have been nice to get a little more peel there, and that's one thing that, as a support hero, you have to really pay attention to. Once you engage in the fight, don't just focus on one target. Make sure that you kind of have vision on what's going on around the ADC, things like that. Because, yeah, that was a bad engagement because that Gideon came in and ulted anyways. But before that, if Gideon wouldn't have came in, I would have definitely gone down as anyways. So, is what it is. But definitely that tunnel vision type thing, which, I do that occasionally as well. We just have to watch out for that. Now, Kallari does get caught out, and the Crunch gets caught out as well. I'm not exactly sure what they were both doing up at this point. We still even have a tier 1 up, and they're close to our inhibs. That's really bad positioning, especially since they came in staggered like that, and we were really able to capitalize on both of them. Now, Gideon goes ahead and sacrifices himself for this tier 1 as well, which, guys, we should really avoid dying for tier 1s. Tier 1s are kind of meant to fall. You definitely want to keep them, but it's never worth dying for. And this is 2 times we've had deaths for tier 1s. It's just really not worth it, guys. Now, from here, we're going to take Fangtooth. Now, it's 24 minutes, almost 24 minutes into the match, and no one's got Fangtooth yet, which, we typically have been getting Fangtooth a little bit earlier, but you've seen it's been a fairly back and forth match. There's a lot of lane pushing and then pushing back and pushing back. Not a whole lot of team fighting, things like that. And you have to kind of treat Fangtooth as almost a prime in a way, because, you need to set up, you don't want to lose objectives, lose towers for getting Fangtooth. Now, me and Richter, I say, hey, let's just put tons and tons of pressure on this tower. Let's try to down this tower. This will take off pressure in our off lane, and who knows, we might actually be able to take the tower. Tell him to throw down a ward. Sure enough, Kallari heads in, and, with this great amount of peel that Richter was able to do, we end up taking out Kallari. But since their Gideon showed up, that rock, you saw that rock hurt, and then that stun, they were able to take us both out. But this does alleviate a lot of the pressure. which is what we wanted to do. I definitely didn't want both of us to die, but I mean, you can see we were caught way out of position, and without having that communication of, hey, you've got Gideon rotating over, or things like that, you know, it was a little bit harder for us to deal with, but the amount of pressure we were able to keep up actually allowed our team in that off lane to push all the way up and take out a tier 2. So it definitely wasn't a, you know, a fruitless victory type thing, or a fruitless loss, I guess. I don't know. It wasn't quite worth dying for, but, you know, we basically traded us, you know, me and Richter for a tier 2. So yeah, again, it wasn't quite worth dying for, but keeping that pressure up. And this is what keeping pressure it means. It doesn't mean dying for it, of course, guys. But keeping pressure up means you're pushing that lane and forcing the enemy to have to deal with that minion wave. You might not be there, but the minion wave is there hitting the tower. So they're going to have to rotate over. And that is what pressure is, guys. Pressure's not standing there shooting at them. Pressure is getting the minions under that tower. Now from here, I'm going to just kind of clean this lane up, and then I actually head to mid lane. You know, we've got a little bit of a team presence there. I need to be there to make sure we can secure these kills. Now, was going to take out this Kalari, and I missed her. Just misjudged. But we're able to just one-shot her, which I probably shouldn't have wasted my ult on anyways, but no problem. We do end up actually chasing this. You know, I've got my cop lights on. I want to get this crunch. He's able to get out, but we're going to go ahead and stay in on this Muriel. And, you know, the only reason I'm chasing like this is because I've got fancy cop lights. And this is the whole thing I'm talking about, guys. This is why I think Hot Pursuit is a bad thing. Because it encourages you to chase. Now with these cop lights, you're like, yeah, I can chase now. Look, I ran all the way up there, guys. That's bad. And I'm an experienced player. You know, I know that's not the best option to do. And, you know, even though we did have a couple of them down, it could have very easily been flipped on me at that point. Chasing kills like that is just, in my opinion, that is bad gameplay. It's bad to promote things. Right then was a great time to chase. But 95% of the time, it's not a good idea to chase kills. And you can see, we stayed out of position because we're so far up at this point, because I did chase that kill. The fights turned around on me very, very easily. And I wouldn't have been in that position if I wouldn't have chased that kill all the way. It promotes chasing kills, which promotes bad placement, bad positioning, things like that. And I'm just not a fan of it at all, guys. And again, I think the cop lights are neat. I think it actually is kind of a neat ability, but with it promoting that bad team play, that bad positioning on one of the easiest ADCs to play, or the easiest ADC to play, with it having that promotion tool, I just don't feel that that is a good quality to have within your ADC or within your team within Paragon. Now we do get into kind of an engagement down here at this Raptor pit. I'm going to definitely make sure I peel around. You know, Crunch does have that knock away that kind of pushes everybody away. You know, Crunch is very, very elusive for being such a giant beast of a monster machine. But, you know, hey, he does get out. Now we do head back over, and we are able to, you know, get a little bit of damage. Seraph is here, and we're able to absolutely melt her. Now Kalari shows up, which, you know, Kalari, that might not have been the best decision to go in on me there, but we're able to take her out as well. And from here, you know, I'm just kind of looking around, what can we do? I do definitely need to get back to my lane to secure it. So I kind of tell everybody, hey, I'm leaving the fight. Y'all be careful. And I'm going to head over and secure this safe lane. Now from here, there's really no better time to push. You can see both of our lane, or our other two lanes, are pushed all the way to the tower. It would be a nice time to go for Prime, but, you know, I'm thinking, hey, let's take out some towers while we have the opportunity, and they're all here. You know, we could have actually made that Prime play, but let's just push some objectives first, because our team is kind of split up. We've got all this pressure right here, you know, with all of them being up as well. This could very easily turn into, you know, a bad situation for us. And sure enough, from here, we're going to head down to Prime and actually secure Prime. Now, after our Prime play, I have seen a lot of teams go secure the Raptor after that. And really, guys, that the Raptor takes, 30 seconds to down. By the time you run over there, down it, and then get back to your lane, you're wasting 30, maybe 40 seconds worth of Prime buff just to secure that 4 power. It's really not worth all that much. So I would definitely recommend, actually picking up Prime and pushing lanes like we're doing now. Now that Gideon ult, oh man, Gideon ult's tough right now. But we were able to survive it, and, we're doing a pretty good amount of damage on this crunch. Now, I do hit him. I thought that would be enough to kill him, but it wasn't. Look at this great Richter peel. He's able to take that out. And then check this out. Richter body block with that Kalari ult, and we're able to finish her off. Great job, Richter. That was absolutely amazing. I'm going to get out. I just lazy back. I'm actually going to go defend. I'm very low. So I'm going to go defend, make sure we don't lose an inhib while my team pushes. We made an amazing play there. We were able to take down 4 of their heroes. This should be game, but we definitely don't want to lose an inhib when we can avoid that from happening. Now, my team was actually able to secure Seraph, which, that's a team wipe, and team wipes are critical at this in-game point. So, it's GG. I might have been able to stay in there with Prime, with that tiny little bit of lifesteal that I do get. I might have been able to heal up, but really, Seraph probably could have one-shot me, and it's best just to push this lane and let my team deal with it. Well, that's really going to wrap it up, guys. This was a really fun game. I gotta say, Murdock feels so much better than Twin Blast at the moment. Of course, Murdock is just such an easy hero. You point, shoot, and you've got the sniper, and now you've got, whoop whoop, that's the sound of the police sirens. So Murdock is a lot of fun, and, seeing those lights is really fun, too. Well, thanks for watching, guys, and if you did enjoy, show me some love, leave me a comment, join our Discord if you haven't done so. We've got a tournament that's about to start, and I'd love to see y'all in it. And, as always, I'll see y'all in the next video.